The main problem I have with like the vote blue no matter who people is that they don't have a strategy change, right? Like in 2016, it made sense to vote for Hillary for the Supreme Court. There was an open Supreme Court seat. There was old liberals. If she had won in 2016, the Democrats would have probably been able to get, within her presidency, assuming they held the Senate, they probably would have been able to get a 5-4 Supreme Court. And God knows, you know, overturning Citizens United and that butterfly effect of Hillary Clinton winning in 2016, we don't know how the world would have spun out from there. Okay. We really don't know. But one thing we can be relatively sure of is the idea that there would have been a 5-4 liberal Supreme Court. And a 5-4 liberal Supreme Court doesn't save the planet, but it certainly changes the political conditions dramatically. And it gives a hell of a lot more power to, you know, building state capacity and constraining corporate power. Even though they're massive sellouts and they would have made a bunch of bad decisions I disagree with. And, you know, it wouldn't have been the panacea, but it would have been significantly different. So I think just voting blue no matter who in 2016 was the right strategy. But we're not in that world anymore. Okay. The problem is that in 2016, the Democrats would have taken steps that were within their norms, right? And then it would have had an effect. We're no longer in that period. We need radical actions. The like norm following lib range of behaviors is not sufficient to save the country and the world. We need people that are actually going to take radical transformational action. But in reality, if we don't get radical change, we're on a disastrous path. And like, I feel like that not recognizing that conditions change, therefore the actions you need to take change, is the big problem I have with like Sam Cedars' position on like just voting for Kamala. She's doing a genocide, man, and she's promising to do more fracking. You know what I mean? If Kamala Harris was running on, I'm going to reform the Supreme Court and I'm going to get rid of the filibuster and I'm going to end partisan gerrymandering and I'm going to pass card check and I'm going to do these things. I'm going to admit DC as a state. I'm going to get rid of the electoral college to elect for president. We're going to do this, this, and this. We're going to, take this. We're going to do the Green New Deal, which is not radical, but what the bare minimum we need. Like if she was running on like a decent platform and a decent program, I would have absolutely no problem saying vote Kamala Harris. But the reality is she's not doing that. She's running in I'm going to make everything worse platform. I'm going to do a Cold War with China. I'm going to support Israel's genocide in Gaza. I'm going to support Israel in a war against Iran. I'm going to do austerity at home. I'm going to do the most minor, tiny tinkering. And by the way, if a law lands on my desk to give abortion rights, I'll sign it. But everybody knows that can't happen unless the filibuster is overturned. So they're basically banking on Kamala Harris not being who she said she is and being some sort of secret socialist who's going to step out of the dark and go, ha 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 ha, I was lying. I'm actually Kamala Harris from 2019 again. And there is no evidence that's true at all. Kamala Harris is not good enough anymore. We're on a path where we have missed our opportunities for a gradual and easy transformation. And every step we take down the path with Kamala Harris is going to make what is required to fix it all the more difficult. And the other problem is Kamala Harris is actually not going to improve our situation. She's going to make it worse. Why is she going to make it worse? Because she's going to focus on defeating the left. And she's going to have the power of the Democratic Party behind her. And we need more and more left-wing people in power in order to take the radical actions we need to save the fucking planet. That is the reality we're in. It's not because I want this to be true. It is so happens to be true.